Sorry.
Start over.
Thank you, sir.
Well, did you wrap it up for you, back it up? We all set?
Yes, we are recording.
So this is the Board of Selectmen meeting on March 18th. We've approved the agenda. No, we haven't. There's a motion out there to approve the agenda with the addition. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you. I move to approve the Board of Selectmen regular meeting minutes for March 4th, 2025. This. That no longer in effect. So as you move the voice over IP.
No, we want to go to a true voice over.
So it's still in effect.
Yes, the quasi system we have is in fact not a true.
I just asked about the voice over IP we had talked about last week. It's still in effect. Here we go. All those in favor of approving the minutes? Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Audience of citizen? Anybody for anything that's not on the agenda? Now?
Mike, you're on, it's number 7.
Okay, seeing none. Nobody out there? I don't understand what this is.
It's the
The abatement for the volunteer firefighters?
red is,
You asked me to write notes in there.
So I asked you to. We need to have a town meeting for 3 items. The abatement for volunteer firefighters as was talked about last.
and you have in your binders, the red is the recommended language from our town attorney in conjunction with the firefighters.
We have transfer for facilities over budget by 24,000.
Beverly can speak to that if you like.
Yes, with all the repairs and stuff.
We're over by 24,000.
Right now, currently, yes.
Okay. And the usage of the LoCIP funds for the slip line culvert pack projects.
So this is an idea Beverly and I had, if you wanna go further, all the way to town meeting. We get LoCIP every year. And we've accumulated 101,000,
231 is right.
or 231 once we get the
This year's amount.
this year allowance. So
When does this year's come?
Around June.
So it's before the July 1st. Thank you.
and that LoCIP could be used for 2 items that are in the capital request for the budget going to, that you've already sent forward to 5-pack. For the slip lining of the 2 culverts,
Oh.
which are about 230,000. So we could use LoCIP to pay for those slip linings and pull them out of the budget by using LoCIP in the budget year we're in. So it's just another idea, it would reduce almost $500,000.
So we don't have any other plans to spend that
Well,
money?
we always use it on something.
We had a plan to use it on the maintenance garage up at Rec Park. They let you go by 5 years back, but the thought was. You have a project coming up that could use funding, but we have to take the money out of general fund first, because it has to be a approved capital project, but we'll get the money right back. I submit for the LoCIP funds.
Okay.
And what was it supposed to be for, the maintenance
Well,
garage?
the only thing that we could use it for was like the maintenance garage and some other projects,
And what
but that would
we-
be going back.
We would be building a new maintenance garage?
No, no,
We
no,
did.
it's the one
It would just go into revenue.
Oh, okay, gotcha. It's, yeah, we just go into revenue and stuff like that, which it still will. But it was the only project we had currently at the time the money was coming in. So since last year, we didn't really need that revenue, we just keep putting it off, but now that this project came up with the 2 culverts. instead of adding it into next year's budget, we could take the money out of the general fund. And then apply for the LoSiP funds, providing we have all the paperwork and we'll get all the money back, most of the money back, but we still have to go out to bid.
Right, I have to go out to a sealed bid because of the dollar amount. So I have the specs. I've already gotten 2 bids, but they weren't sealed.
So, let me just, so I understand. We'll have the money by the end of June, so we could use it. Or we could just transfer it into the general fund. It will go to the general fund.
You have to, so first of all, you have to have the culverts fully funded by the town. So we have to do a town meeting to get that money put into an approved capital project.
To apply for LoSiP.
Then, as long as the project is done prior to June 30th,
Or
or just wait
Contracted.
till next year, whatever.
project is done or
Should
contracted.
be done, I can get the money and put it into this year's.
Can we get it done that fast?
That's what we have to find out. Either way, I mean, even if we do the transfer, the money will be going, either it comes in this year or come in next year, depending on when the project's complete.
But we wouldn't have to add it to the,
It would be taken out of next
Budget.
year's budget.
the money would come in one of these.
Sounds like a way to do it and not to raise our taxes. Have
Yes.
included in our
That
taxes.
was the thought,
Yeah,
And the work and the maintenance garage can wait.
Well, it's done.
no.
We
it's a-
used ARPA
it's
for
a
that.
completed project. No, we didn't use ARPA for that. That was the second building that went up during, when
It's
we were
done.
building the pavilion. So LoSiP will cover projects that have been completed and funded by the town, will go back 5 years.
Okay.
So since that was sitting out there, the thought was use that, but now that I know about this project that we could use the funding for, then we might as well use it for
So the
something else.
pavilion.
Yes,
Pavilion.
yes. So instead of going back a couple of years, that's all done deal, we can go forward with a new project and get it funded or
So
reimbursed.
basically, it takes funds that we have or will get. And it pays for 2 slip lines that have to be done, whether they're done this year or next year. The bottom line is, it just takes it off of capital next year, so we don't raise taxes that amount to cover the half of a mill,
Yes,
not $1 million, half of a mill rate.
yes.
I think it's a great idea.
We would have to have a town meeting.
Town meeting there.
okay.
But we'll have all the details for you by the April 1st board select meeting, and then we can schedule a town meeting for April 15th.
So no action taken tonight. Or
I
every,
just wanted the board's approval to go forward.
and the transfer of the
Okay, so
facilities,
we're not moving on a town meeting tonight.
Just
We'll
need-
do that April 1st,
Just need a consensus to get everything pulled
lined
together.
up,
and the 24,000 is just because of a lot of repairs we've had.
yes.
Yes,
Well,
Even with not adding Nevin until a month ago.
that has nothing to do with
That would
that.
have to be a
Oh,
labor transfer.
Yeah.
That could be a different transfer.
Okay. Anybody other discussion?
No,
Fine. Okay. Discussion on the gate keys. What a day it's been. We met with fishermen. He said he doesn't speak for all of them, but he certainly spoke for all of them. We talked about this. We talked about this, and I will say, the gentleman we talked to is very understanding. He understands that what we do as a board is for the betterment or the health of the lake that belongs to the people of Columbia. I said to him, we may be able to get somebody at 6 AM to open it up. 6 AM was not a bad time, it was a good time. 5 is better, but 6 AM was good. He also is very open to it, like a per diem position where they would have to call by 8 PM to notify that person that, yes, they were going to be there to fish. Okay. So that's an idea. The other thing that came up was they're able to take out a key. Take out a key on the day before they want to fish, early in the morning, from the rec department down there. So they go and they fill out a form saying, I'm going to take out a key. I'm going to put my boat on the water. This is the boat. This is who I am, and I understand the boat needs to be clean of weeds and and then they open the gate when they want. The cameras are better down there. We can see who it is. We can read license plates. We can read the licensure on the boats. Fish. Lock the gate, fish, come out. Pull the boat off, deposit the key back into the rec office through a kilo. If they want to fish on Sunday, they have to state that on the form, pick it up on Friday, I'm gonna fish on Sunday. This is for. My idea would be for fishing only, because. There's no recreation. That would go over steerage way anyway in the dark. So. It's a solution in progress. It's pretty close, but it would be a solution in progress, so. Two things to think about. Anybody else have something else which says, forget the key altogether, we're doing, 8 AM to 5 PM or something? They said, and he said, listen, we should be able to fish the lake that we all own. You should be able to fish it when the fish are actually biting. And we shouldn't be penalized for boats that come in after hours that are not of standard or regulation or license. We shouldn't be held accountable for those actions. When I reminded him that the gate's been left open by fishermen, he said, I understand, I'm the culprit. It's taken me a while to remember. But there's a sign up there that says, lock the gate. So it's been a long time since anything like that has happened. So, thoughts? Yes, sir.
So they would be coming here while the town hall's open to get the key.
Or rec,
Rec.
or Coffee House, rec.
So. And maybe it's something you guys already considered. I mean, what if a training video on how to properly inspect and clean your boat is something that could probably be put together by whoever, I mean, we could figure out, and that way they at least can see it and they can attest that, hey, they've watched it. What if it's one time?
You know what, and I think this gentleman would probably be happy to be the subject of how to clean your boat.
Because he did explain to us in detail how it's supposed to be done.
Right, so that way everyone who gets it can say, yep, I saw the video, I understand. What if they do it? I mean, that's on an honor system, sounds like, but.
Well, we have. Yes, it's on the honor system for the fishermen. Everybody else goes through during business hour times.
When we
Yeah,
have
I'm not giving out keys. I'm not giving out 50 keys.
Didn't they have a training before where they did something like a
We can
movie?
still do that, it's not a video though.
It's not
a
a video.
paper, read the,
Oh,
Yeah.
video I think would be great.
The YouTube channel,
That's a good idea.
you can post it on YouTube.
deep probably has.
That's what I'm saying, they can watch it after.
Yeah.
Say,
Okay,
They can watch it right there. You want
Oh,
the
yeah, well,
key,
that was my.
you watch it, and then
Right.
once they've watched it once, they're checked off, yep, they watched, they don't have to watch it again.
That's gonna make all the difference.
no. But
I know. It's hard to control.
We had a conversation last time about this, and I'm gonna quote from the minutes. The board agreed that the gate needs to either be staffed or secured, and the current system needs to be improved.
Well, the
we talked
targets-
about this, there's all kinds of studies out there that say, this is the best way to preserve the lake is to have it either staffed or secured. So if you have somebody who's there, if you have to get them there at 6 o'clock, do it that way. I think it's a mistake to have keys wandering out there. You're gonna have that, despite some video.
It's far from having 50 keys out there, but I understand what you're saying. That's why I started with the 6 a.m. And reserved by 8 p.m. the night before. We just have to find the 6 p.m. or 6 a.m. person or people, so. And he was open to it, but if, like you said. Okay. Please inform Jake. Try and find somebody for 6 a.m.
Just start advertising for it. Or did they check with Marine Patrol?
No, we'll ask them, we'll give them first shot, they're already trained. If anybody wants.
We'll go with that, and I mean, I understand, I just added another, so. Anyone, anything else? We good? Okay. New business. So the Coldfield dugouts. Are in need of. Replacement. That's the upper field on the right-hand side as you're going up, the big baseball field. We have money in the brand fund, and we also have money from, the baseball. How do we get that money?
It's money from years ago, this was set up when Little League had given money to the town to maintain fields, so whatever's left of that, plus we've been collecting money when they use the pavilions or use the fields, so the fund has built up to about $11,000.
So I think we'll need about 9,000 because. In your book, you'll see that the dugouts, the construction, the concrete pads is 11,500. We don't do any of that work, huh? And the fence is 7,800. Labor material, more materials, roofs, okay, 3,400 for a total of 22,654. Brand fund is 13,000 plus, so we'll need another $9,000 from the rec field fund 38. So I move to approve the authorization, the use of all available funds from the brand account. And fund 38 to replace the dugouts at Coldfield. Discussion, anything?
So what's the status of the other fields and dugouts, or they?
They've all
They're
been
all,
done.
they've already
Done.
been replaced.
So,
Little League and girls softball have the same dugouts the Coalfield now have,
Okay,
instead of the old, carefree sheds.
So this will use up all our grant money?
yes,
It'll be done,
Because
You won't have to follow that anymore. And close that.
the whole 400,000 will be
Close that.
How many years has that been around now?
probably about 15 years,
yeah,
Yeah.
at least, yeah.
That's us.
and that sparked the study on the
Master plan,
master plan, yeah,
but the property behind the.
if they only knew. The meetings, okay, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed, thank you. Columbia Lake, Mr. Dobler. The representative. Are you down tonight? Great.
I've never done this before. I assume everybody saw the packets that I forwarded.
So, Mr. Dobler, you went before LMAC for 3 different requests, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, so you'll all see here, there's a little bit of history, that's why Mr. Dobler is here tonight, after March 17th or March 15th, but the thing is, he went to LMAC as required, LMAC voted to approve 2 of the 3 requests. Correct?
Correct.
In the third one, they They advised Mr. Gilbush to work with the wetlands agent, the Inland Wetlands Commission, and the town of Columbia to seek solutions upstream from the lake that would better mitigate water flow from the watershed into, including conducting an improved swale repair. So that's what you're here about, really, the swale repair. So let's talk about the first two. Are they done, the first two? We wanted to,
Well, the second one was also denied. I wanted to, there was two sets of plastic steps. One was put there around 2008. It's just round steps, full steps. The second set was installed in 2019 that has handrails.
so let me ask you a question on those, because there's precedents being set going on with lake issues, okay? So. And the ones that were put on in, what'd you say, 2007,
2008.
2008, how'd you get those on there?
So I did not install it.
Okay, they were on there.
Yes,
Okay.
both those steps were, my family and myself have used the property since 1952. The dock and the stairs have changed. There's been stairs, no stairs, ladder, no ladder. You know, in 2008, well, previous to that, there were steps. My dad was approaching 80. Matthew Dote in around 2003, removed the steps, put a ladder in, okay, which is straight up.
Okay,
Somebody set in 2008 and in 2019, that's when I remember them appearing. We only purchased the property 4 years ago.
okay, so when you purchased it 4 years ago, there was already a second ladder there,
There was two sets of steps, yes.
2 sets of steps.
Yes, not, well, there was a ladder and two sets of steps. One of the set of steps is in front of the ladder.
So what are you looking to do there?
I would like to remove all the plastic steps, you know, you can see the picture there already. And I proposed, there was a set of aluminum steps. There is a preferred set that, at Amazon that comes out the same distance as the round plastic steps. That was what I would prefer. There's also an alternate that comes out less, but the steps are quite a bit narrow and smaller. The steps are only 4 inches by 22 inches.
So these steps right here,
Mhm.
you wanna replace those?
Right, with a set of aluminum steps.
Same, and it comes out the same distance as it is here.
Correct.
Is that?
Yeah.
You, hold on, let me, and Jim, you do a lot of construction here.
Yeah.
Is that the same distance? You measured it and stuff?
I'm actually not gonna execute the plan for him, but I have a little bit of familiarity and I believe it's the same.
So you wanna replace these existing with an aluminum? And what else you wanna do with that?
That's
Second
all I
step.
wanted to do on the dock.
And you want-
And then I think they approved the redecking it and then adding a little piping.
So we got one redecking the top of it, it has nothing to do with the lake bottom, you're redecking the top, some of it. And then you wanna put these steps, and they said no to what on the second one, the
The
steps,
steps.
They said no to the steps.
Any steps,
but you have steps.
I realize that.
Why did they say no?
You know, my property is unique, it's only 15 feet wide, so everything is grandfathered.
Yeah.
They said there's steps 25 feet away.
Oh, that's what
We have 9 property owners that use the property. Their kids, their families, their guests. So there can be a lot of people on 15 feet. You know, and like I said, my thing, you know, little kids like to sit on the steps. You know, we like to have, you know, a way that to get in and out of the water besides the steps. You know, and they've always been there. You know, in some form.
I just wanna read this homework for myself, everybody, March 5th is when, now you applied, you made an application for this in January?
Yes, I had made a previous one last year about this time.
Yeah.
It was tabled to the drawdown period, I think in August. At
Okay,
that point, I wanted to put a platform and 2 steps to make it And then they said that would make your dock bigger. So I said, okay. So I came up with just putting steps in.
And you applied on, when did you apply for that, in January?
Yeah, January.
Second.
Whatever the first year was in January.
Okay, so and Elmac actually didn't answer him until March fifth. And we talked to Elmac about that, and why was that? Cause they
I don't know why, I mean, they
lost his email, or,
They originally asked for the application again, but then they found it. It was sent to them at the date.
so it was sent to them, but they didn't act on it because they overlooked it or whatever. And they asked for it again, but then they found the one that they
Yeah,
had
the
overlooked,
when it was originally submitted.
okay?
And then a subcommittee that exists for evaluating requests did go out and meet with Mr. Dolich. And then it was reviewed at the last meeting.
It says here, they made a recommendation to, that you do a straight up and down ladder with no steps, correct? In place of the steps that are the ladder that's there.
Correct.
But they also said, not only you must remove the 2 sets of plastic stairs placed on the lake bed without permits in 2020. You said they were already there in 2019 before you purchased it?
Yeah, and then the first set was back in 2008, which, you know, like you can verify by Google Earth Maps, their history.
So are you now not looking for the second set of steps? You're just looking for,
I just wanna put one set of steps, you know, where those are.
where the ladder is?
Correct.
And that's the ladder that I pointed to right here, right? This ladder,
Okay, which one?
page 5, this ladder,
Yeah, I wanna remove both of these, I think one, I got
one ladder that goes like this.
so it's basically. A modern aluminum.
Yeah. So LMAC advises the Board of Selectmen not to approve adding 6 steps on the dock where the current ladder exists, as there is already a set of 6 steps at the lakefront which allows safe access to the lake. What are those 6 steps that allow access to the lake? On page 10? Oh, these steps?
The stone steps.
These steps are not even on the dock, right?
Right.
So you can walk down your right of way into the lake using these steps, but if you go out on the dock, there's
Nothing,
they're not really steps there.
no.
Unless you use the 2 existing ladders.
Of one they want going,
They-
and the other one they want straight up and down.
So they only wanna have one ladder,
A ladder, no steps.
no steps.
Straight up and down ladder. And you,
What did the ordinance say?
Yeah, that was my.
There is no guideline or anything that says anything about steps or ladders.
We've dealt
So
with a
what's
number
their
of docks. Width of dock, wraps, I don't remember.
Yeah. We had that ordinance thing. So what's their rationale? Hmm.
So the other, and motion 3, I'm gonna tell you, I'm not even gonna address that tonight. The drawdown is already over, they're refilling the lake, there's nothing you can do on the lake bottom now, is that correct?
That, I'm sorry, that specific spot, like on page 12. Where our new black pavers is still, there's still no water there. Or should we replace them tomorrow? Erosion,
And what is, and they don't want you to put that down there, they want you to flow the water in number 13, photo number 13. You'll see on the right photo, there is a black corrugated pipe coming out below the right side of the, near the stairs there. So that's where the water off the street flows into the lake.
correct.
Okay, and it flows, it shoots across. And there's I see a brick. A line of bricks, what's that for? So they divert the water to go across instead of down in?
Down. So it doesn't wash out where people step into the lake.
So let's just say young kids are coming down, with 6 steps they say are already there. And the water comes up over that pipe or close to it, or where
The
is?
water's at that brick line.
Is that,
goes
it's,
across, where the bales of hay go across,
yeah,
that's where the lake line is.
do you see the bricks? Are they under the water?
Right at the water.
They're right at the
maybe
water.
That much above the water.
So they're above the water.
Yes. You know, and the rest of the chute, the 3 pavers that you see are submerged.
Nobody from Almac.
Don't they hear?
Did they know we were discussing this time?
Yes.
Nobody from Almac. did.
Wait.
Did they? No, they're not in the waiting room.
No.
Unless your wife's on Almac, and she can rule your
No, it's my sister.
sister.
Wondering the rationale, why they're, making that decision.
They're protective of the lake bottom. One.
So the reason for the 4 nays is Almac defers to the wetland agent to show if, defers to the wetland agent. Who is not, has she weighed in on this or not?
No,
So they defer to the wetland agent. Does she know about this?
I'm sure she's aware of it.
But she hasn't met with you or.
Well, is Almac,
Not since last year.
is Almac asked her to, or
Good
have
question,
they've not forwarded this?
right?
I'll be honest with you, I said that LMAC is a consulting and makes recommendations to the board. But members of the town can come before the board of selectmen and say, okay, that's your recommendation. I have more to say, or would like to go forward. So the question is, LMAC defers to the wetlands agent. Did they ask the wetlands agent to weigh in on this? To show if the stormwater drain impacts the neighbor's seawall by adding bricks and pavers that channel the water towards that wall versus allowing the water to disperse over the entire stone block. So that contradicts the photo here. So if the water is coming out that pipe, it's already being, it's not diverted, it's shooting right toward the neighbor's stone wall, correct?
Brand new stone wall.
So what? So their nay contradicts what they're saying about defers to the wetland agent to show if the stormwater drain impacts the neighbor's seawall by adding bricks and pavers that channel the water towards that wall. Well, the water's shooting towards that wall anyway, nothing's diverting it except the flow, the angle of the pipe, correct, Jim?
Yeah, the water comes straight out of the pipe and is heading in that direction. It lands, there's a concrete slab that it lands on, and it depends on the force. I've got a couple of videos when it's been raining. So we've been lucky, over the last 3 months that they've been sort of like, gentle rains or long duration storms where we got a lot of rain, but it was not all at once. And what happened with the last rainstorm, which is really important, I think, to the conversation this evening, is that the water comes out, because now we had tarps and things down and diversions of our own while we were in construction. Now all of that's gone. So the water comes out of the pipe, goes down that, off that slab and heads towards the lake bottom. And then Mr. Dobish had, put in some blocking to actually put the patio blocks onto, which was his way of filling in the gully that had happened when it was a bad one last year that it really washed out. So those blocks are still there and the water comes down and is diverted around the block. And so I've got the video and pictures of the erosion next to the block that's occurring now. So if he is forced to take out those blocks, there'll now be a void there. And when the water comes down off that plateau, it's just going to erode all the soils adjacent to the Vinings wall, which is just newly redone. And create again an opening, which it did in that last rainstorm, as
That's it.
it was again, not very forceful, but it was enough, and once the erosion starts, the erosion is self-perpetuating, so it's not gonna go away. So the patio blocks or something of that nature would help to diffuse that runoff coming down and carry it past the corner of our wall. And then,
I'm okay. Picture number 6, why wasn't the original design that carried the water out past all the? Why wasn't that done?
Which the original design is going out under the dock.
Number 6, yeah.
Um, Well, that didn't allow me to do that. We wanted to have a field to slow the water down. I wanted to come out under the dock and have the elbow up. And then I could collect rock from the lake bottom, put it under the dock, so that it wouldn't, when it came out, it wouldn't, be in a swim area or any place where anybody would be walking, it would be under the dock.
Yes.
if I might, sort of, there is sufficient time now, the water's not up, so you could potentially get it done within a short period of time, I think. If the board would so allow.
All right, if somebody play devil's advocate for me.
Is there a way we could request that the wetlands committee do like an emergency review and kind of give feedback, and if we need to have a special meeting to address it? Time is of the essence. I mean, I'd hate to suggest something that impacts Mr. Binnings or some other property without getting wetlands weigh in.
Originally, when I got the original permit, Isabel said they pretty much deal with the high water line up. And now Mike's responsibility is from the high water down. So everything that I've ran through inland wetlands, because originally inland wetlands approved going straight, pending LMAX review. And LMAX, is the one that diverted it. And I did argue up and down, that it was gonna cause damage, but I see the rationale in having the 90 to slow it down. But, now I'm just trying to, I don't want a brand new wall washed out. I'm just trying to mitigate what's there now.
I have to tell you, I'm looking at the bricks there, and if it was my grandkids running down to the lake. First of all, hopefully they're not running on these rocks, but if they are, and they're going into the water. They gotta step over a line of bricks, stub their toes, do this.
I know, I don't care for that, but.
So the inland wetlands agent, Isabel, said. We control the bottom of the lake, LMAC controls what?
That inland wetlands is from the high water line up.
Not.
No, opposite,
High water line.
down.
Well,
Isn't LMAC responsible for?
LMAC's responsible up from the high water, in the high water mark into the lake and the seawall. Wetlands is responsible for everything past the high water mark and the seawall
Oh,
towards land. And that's the way it was explained to me in the original permitting process. And because, you know, LMAC had the final say on where I made the penetration to the wall.
it's a good one.
I mean, I don't understand their rationale. I mean, so it's hard to make a decision if you don't understand why they rejected it.
Well, does their motion to kind of explain part of
Minutes.
in the minutes?
There's no justification to approve a second set of steps.
Yeah, okay, that's fine, he'll take one set of steps, and we have to see if we can authorize a set of steps that go in an angle. Instead of, they'll give him straight up and down ladder, not steps, ladder.
Do other places have steps going out instead of a ladder?
Good question.
I don't know.
I believe during the meeting, they said
6 steps. Where the
that
current
normally,
exists.
if there's steps, they're going up on shore. And
So
the
the-
ladder is going toward
Yeah,
that.
so the steps that are there are the concrete steps,
Yeah, the rock steps.
rock
he
steps. And you want to put in something that's on the deck, dock, on the dock.
said. But he's not putting in steps. He'll do a ladder, but the ladder is angled, so the steps are
it's-
easier.
Oh,
it's-
It's steps.
Right, step.
Oh, okay, well, yes.
And then, you know, like I said, my property is unique with the amount of people that can use it.
We need steps on the dock, we're abandoned, so what? Nothing. So there were steps before, they were abandoned 14 years ago. For whatever.
It was abandoned in 2003 when Matthew Dote put a straight up ladder.
Mhm.
And then somebody in 2000, what I said, 2008. This was right after I moved back, Connecticut, put the round set in. And then somebody later put the straight up set of steps that are there with the handrails.
So has LMAC approved any, you can't do anything on the water issue, the runoff issue because of inland, correct?
Because of LMAC.
Because of LMAC. So what is their solution to this?
It's exactly what you see, they
Just to
wanted,
let free wind, free go out through that whole opening. So there's no control.
So those, it kind of makes those steps move, if you have a mess there all.
Yes.
Yeah,
and the bricks, Elmac didn't tell you to put those bricks in there, you just put them in there?
You know, at the end of, after the washout last year, you know.
You put the bricks in,
I put the bricks in and I put the pavers in to stop any additional,
and they told you to take them out,
yes,
even the bricks?
And they have no solution to,
they just want them.
Redeemed
off-
to
off
take
the
it.
bottom.
Look at the washout.
yeah,
And granted, you know, we have it every year, but
did it help with our water runoff?
yeah, there was no erosion. You know, during all of last summer and spring.
yeah, you have to bring it to the water line. If you don't get it with the water line, then it softens it.
It's the sheer volume that can come through that pipe.
And
Because it's basically half of Sleepy Hollow Road.
I would say the same thing, can we get the wetlands person in there quickly? Because they're saying to show up the storm water drainage impacts the neighbor's seawall by adding bricks and pavers to channel the water toward that wall. To see if, you know, how to do it, so if, or if that's happening.
Is it 2x2 pavers you wanna put down?
Yeah, they're 2x2,
How many?
I think. What do the pictures show?
6?
Yeah, 6 or 8.
Is it 6 or 8?
Say
Say,
Say 8.
And they're side by side, so it's 2, 2, 2, and another 2. Right? That'll cover the area. Alright. I make a motion to allow, Mr. Dervish to, put in a ladder, an approved ladder, up and down,
And remove both stairs.
and remove both the plastic stairs.
You get rid of both of them?
So no stairs, I can't get any stairs.
No. Say it
If
again.
you say it again. I think he
Well,
did.
LMAC said no on the stairs. They said yes to a ladder, they want up and down ladder, it's a ladder on a dock. Okay,
It's not at an angle.
it's
just
not even
regular-
that, that's what they recommend.
Mhm.
There has to be some, I mean, LMAC is there, to me, they're there for a reason, and their recommendations are 99% of the time, I understand them,
Mhm.
okay? So. And there is a way to get up on the dock. If the next part of me, it makes a motion, straight up and down ladder. But also, in the motion authorizes the placement of 8 2x2 pavers.
at the bottom of the,
At the bottom of the 6 rock stairs. Okay, that's my motion. Anybody can say yay, nay, add something, we'll go on it, but the bottom line is, here's the caveat. We're gonna revisit this at the drawdown. We're gonna revisit this at the drawdown, the pavers and stuff, okay? Because I do think that the erosion on that will happen after the drawdown. If we see a lot of runoff, how it will affect in the rocks, the pavers there. I mean, that's. Cause LMAC, they do have a concern there, and
The wetlands agent should give their recommendation.
I'm not sure I can get the wetlands agent out there before the water comes up. And looking at that, I don't know I don't want old people, I don't want young people, I don't want little people, walking on this
Right.
run out here trying to get into the water, by not having a 45 ladder. Or to be able to get them up with the steps.
Yeah, I'm not clear why they're not recommending the steps off the dock. You know, I can't, they're just saying there's no justification, I don't know what that means. You know, they're not here to explain it. So I don't know why we wouldn't have steps.
Mr. Blair, you.
Okay,
so, I will be on site, with Mr. Vining on Thursday evening. Isabel, I don't want to suggest what her schedule is, but, she has come to site. She was at the Davis site last Thursday to do an inspection, because we were pretty much done over at the Davis site. So she came by, Thursday evening. I'd be happy, to be there to address the Vining's concerns and how, the patio blocks would be helpful. I think that, you can, again, what's been left, because we had to take out that material to do our excavation. I didn't want to break anything that was his property. So we took them out so they didn't get hurt. I thought they were gonna get put back. And what was left is diverting the water, and it is eroding now. So we're gonna have, right now, looking at the weather, I think we have a minor rain event, Thursday evening into Friday. And the water is still quite a ways from that particular spot. I think you've got days, because then I think the rain on Sunday, Monday again is gonna be substantial. And so now, I think at that point, I can't predict that you could still be able to achieve anything after that. So if they could look at it Thursday, I would be on site, I don't know,
I can do that.
so.
And then we have to decide.
And then you guys would decide if it's okay for us to do it now. Or Mike's actually gonna do the work, it's his property.
We could do it in an email, or get together. Like I said, I just don't see why we can't get steps built. I mean, then there's the issue of the erosion too, that's two separate things.
Steps. Hold yourself straight up on the ladder.
Any other thoughts? You know, in life. Can you read back the motion?
We made a motion to allow Mr. Dobush to install straight up and down ladder and authorize 8 2x2 pavers at the bottom of the 6 rock stairs.
You don't like it, that's fine, vote against it, we'll revisit it or something, but time is running short, I don't know, I'm not sure, I hate to go against LMAC on all these measures, I don't know the rationale on the ladder versus the steps
Well,
are
they gave
part of a
permission.
plastic thing.
He gave permission for the straight up ladder.
Straight up,
Yeah,
okay, so we don't have to do that. Do we
If
want
you
all-
keep it as a straight up ladder, you're
That's
just approving their motion.
That's
their
that's how I saw it. I don't know what the rationales for not having steps or
right.
up to that, but they have some.
They rejected the 45-degree steps instead of a straight up ladder. In the same location.
Right,
The original steps that I showed on that extended out further than what was originally there. You know, I look at these new steps that don't protrude any farther than what's there, and even a set of steps that less encroaches on the lake.
So how far is it, how big are those, the other was 45 feet, how long is this?
The ones I wanna put in, they come out 4 feet into the lake,
4 feet what?
4 feet into the lake.
Off the dock.
Off the dock.
Measure the straight up in the plumb of the dock, come out 4 feet.
Right.
And how many steps are there?
Uh, 6.
6 steps. That's certainly wider than what's there, no?
No,
They're narrow. Each step is only 1%.
6 steps, they come out 4 feet, that's.
and there's also, you know, a more narrower set that only comes out 38 inches.
That's number 17.
Number 17.
8-inch steps.
The steps are 22 inches wide by 4 inches.
16 and 17.
My other concern was most of the steps straight up, aluminum steps I found were only rated at 350 pounds. There's no other concerns to say, I have to call anybody out that uses the property, but I do have some people that use it that are in excess of. Or
Large.
close to,
But they could use the stones.
yeah, they could use.
If you had a decent landing at the stone steps, then you can use the stone steps. And I wouldn't think that a ladder is that expensive, I mean, rental is expensive, but it's not. And you could do that for this year.
That's technically I can't do anything.
Unless the board agrees.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what was the question? What was just said?
Technically, I can't do anything with the steps that are there. I can't remove them or add any right at this point.
Are they buried on the lake bed?
Yes,
Chris?
I'm just trying to understand the minutes from the lake, from LMAC. The motion to, what did we approve in August of 2024? Was that a change to the ordinance where people couldn't put stairs unless it was approved, because this suggests that
I don't ever
two
remember
sets
this
of
coming
plastic
up.
stairs were installed in 2020 without the approval of the board.
Right, I don't.
So that's why, is that part of what LMAX contesting is?
Yes, Mr. Govish is saying the stairs were in before that.
Yeah.
LMAX said they didn't have any application to add stairs, and Mr. Govish says they've been there. Well, one says stairs since 2008, one since 2019.
I don't remember anything about this property in 2024, sorry.
They're referring to the ordinance changes is in 2024, is that what they're referring to in there?
We haven't done any ordinance changes on the lake for 2024, we were talked about it. We've been asked for them for over a year, they have not been established. Those are the ordinance for the lake, 2024.
So we have-
August 15th at our Board of Selectmen,
Are you looking at the?
2024.
What do you say?
Permits were denied, 2 applications. For shoreline repair and dock repair.
That's,
You accepted LMAX recommendation to deny
Deny.
and to request that the pavers be removed. Now, Mr. Gobush is here after reapplying again and requesting you to override that.
Okay, because the work on the wall has been completed, correct?
Correct.
Okay, there's a mitigating circumstances why he's asking about that, but we didn't say anything about the steps or the stairs.
Yeah. No ladder.
Yeah, August
Nothing about the
15th.
ladders.
It was to remove the concrete slabs and bricks placed on the town's lake bed, remove the 2 unapproved plastic stair structures placed on town's lake bed next to the right of way of the dock in 2020 without LMAC or inland wetlands approved permits. And then although LMAC advises that the current dock could be repaired as is, not to include his proposed dock extension to replace the unapproved 2 plastic stairs. Mr. Dovish must not conduct any work on the 17th Sleepy Hollow right of way without OMAC, BOS, and inland approvals.
Who has a question, Steve?
Yeah, I'm just wondering, I don't even remember it.
So structurally, if these stairs and not number 17, the one that has the shorter span, do they need work on the lake bed, like the support, or do they basically just be placed? So hypothetically, right, I mean, if we could approve part of it tonight, right, we could request LMAC to be here April 1st, right, so we could reconsider the steps after further discussion with wetlands. We request LMAC's presence here to further explain to us why, and if the board determines that the stairs are okay, he wouldn't necessarily be harmed, it sounds like, where you could purchase and install these stairs once the lake is drawn further up, right? I assume by the beginning of the April, the lake will be further up, or?
I'm sorry, you asked him about the feet of the stairs, do they have to touch the lake bed?
Well, the bottom of it, when it places down, does he need like a concrete base?
Okay,
You know, on the-
and you said what, sir?
No.
Okay,
They're just
I'm gonna read
adjustable
this.
feet.
Adjustable height. They can meet the demands of different water depth. The feet of the ladder need to touch the bottom to provide the support. So the answer is yes, they do have to touch the bottom.
but do you have to prepare the?
With that, right, that-
Yeah,
that
do you have
was
to
my-
Prepare it or just
Right.
touch
You
it?
don't need a slab to put underneath
Right.
there.
You'd have to put some.
In any water,
Yeah.
any weight that is this big around will drive it into the lake bed. And then when the weight comes off, it may come up. There's flexibility in the aluminum stairs. Am I correct, Mr. Blair?
Yeah.
There will be, if it's an inch above the lake bed and somebody of 200 pounds gets on there, maybe a young adult who's aggressive and they wanna get up fast on the dock and they're jumping, will that go into the lake bed bottom?
Potentially, it's.
Potentially, thank you.
How it's placed.
Yeah, I understand, but there is gonna be, with no touch on the bottom, there will be wiggle room in there. It has to touch the bottom. It will touch the bottom. So, here we are, it's March 17th. will the stairs that are on there, will they last through the summer?
Yes.
I guess I'd like to, I guess, talk, like you said, talk to LMAC and see why they're just, I don't wanna say no, I'd like to get more information, I guess. But then it leaves because with the timing,
But he has stairs
Right.
and steps that he can use,
yeah.
okay? If we can get the inland wetlands out there to take a look at, and take a look at what we believe is erosion under a brand new wall, that's fine.
Are the 6 stone steps yours or are they a right of way for everybody on city?
I own the right of way.
You own the right of way, but it is a right of way where all these people
Yes,
can use them.
there's 9
That
property owners.
explains when you said, look, we're always a lot of people there, so that's a little different.
All right, so I'm going to belay my motion. It seems like really you can fix the top of the dock. No problem. They said, okay, that's above the water line, no problem. You can't pull anything off of the lake bed now, so those stairs are there. The water's kind of touching them already, or just, I don't even want to know the answer. Okay, you can't pull anything off the lake bottom. You can't put anything on it. The stairs need to, the new stairs that you hope to get approval for, need to be supported down there.
You're gonna need some blocks or something to keep them there.
Or is
To
there
just
some
raise
there, because there's old stairs there.
Yeah,
And I would go with the narrow ones and ask for approval, instead of the ones that go 50 inches, over 4 feet. From the plumb of the dock, that's a long way out, that's, I don't know, looking at this picture, that's basically your straight out swim area, you're gonna have to go around that to swim out there, okay? So, as I see it. You really don't have to do anything right now, if we can get inland wetlands out there, hopefully Thursday, to take a look.
Could be an administrative decision, it would be Isabel.
Ask Almac to be out there. I won't be here, I'm in Pennsylvania. Who wants to handle it for the board, we'll have to, I wanna have a board representation out there.
When would it be?
When? Thursday, we're gonna try and set it up for Thursday?
Well, it's probably Thursday towards late afternoon.
Yeah, like I said, Isabel usually gets into town about 5 or so, that's what she has been doing, and, or she did last Thursday anyways. And, or that's when she got to my site, I don't know when she came to town. And I'll be on site, we have a meeting with Mr. Vining, so I'll be in
that's the
that.
next door neighbor.
The next door neighbor, that's really who I'm representing them tonight also, there's their interest in the wall, et cetera.
Alright, so
Thursday afternoon?
you need to
Yeah,
Set that up.
You need to text Isabel and get her and, just let her know that I'm requesting that she be out there.
Okay.
I'd be available Thursday afternoon.
And get it out to the entire board and whoever can be there, that's great. Thank you, Judy. You can be there, and if anybody else can. You know, we talked about this. I respect Almac and the job that they do, but there are instances where I think, what their recommendation is and how they perceive things, we have questions. That's our job, to ask those questions and then render a decision. So is there any more you have to deal with this?
And can I read? Oh, go ahead, Jim.
Are you going to make a vote pending action or you, because he has a small window with the water coming in? Pending,
Attentive.
Based on inland wetlands approval, I recommend allowing him to put the favors there.
and it'd be an administrative approval, because in the wetlands,
Can they we're not having an authorized meeting, so they can't do it out there on site, huh? Make a motion.
you'd have to make a motion contingent upon
Okay.
an administrative approval.
So the one thing I was gonna suggest, because I mean, it sounds like it's kind of gray where wetlands versus LMAC, so maybe do you wanna make it whichever entity has the real decision on there, not just say it's inland wetlands, I hate to have you say that, and it's actually LMAC because it's.
Actually,
at the
it's
water.
this board here that has the decision on that. It's LMAC's, a discussion on the flow of the water and the force of the water and the eroding around the new area and what it's doing to that area. That's the kind, that's,
And they recommended not to do it.
Right,
if they recommended not, or if they say it won't hurt anything, actually, it would probably help in diverting the water to hit top of the wall to keep the erosion from happening under. I don't know, she'll have to say that. So it's based on her expertise on the flow of the water and the damage that pacing the pavers will prevent or will do no harm or will do harm. And then we'll decide, right?
Are you going to make a motion that is approved pending approval, administrative approval from the wetlands agent?
Probably, if they can't, if they have somebody out there, because there has to be a quorum, so there has to be enough people, so. I move to approve the placement of 8 2x2 patio brick blocks
Okay.
pending the approval of inland wetlands, water flow and erosion design. All those in favor,
When you say in the wetlands, it has to be
Isabel,
Isabel's administrative approval, because it
Okay.
won't be in the wetlands.
amended to Isabel
Administrative approval.
okay.
Kislex, administrative approval. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Use the stairs as it is. Can't touch them. Alright,
Can,
go ahead.
can
Ask.
I'm sorry, I take up so much time. Can I get approval that I can redeck the dock?
You already have that, and yes,
Right now?
so I make a motion to allow him to approve the top of the decking. In accordance or in agreement with LMAX recommendation. All those in favor? Aye. Okay,
One motion to approve a compromise of a dock left. We're not gonna touch that.
you can't take the old one off because it'll disrupt the waterbed and, we're not gonna put the other one on because we're not sure of it. So we have a steps and a ladder for this year. I expect to see you, and part of this is because this went to LMAC in January. It's on our desk at March 17th after the drawdown period, the reflow is coming in, so it's after any time work is supposed to be done. This should have been to us the first meeting after LMAC received it.
Yeah,
So things happen. I'm not blaming anybody. Things happen. I lose emails all the time because basically I can't stand it. So, I mean, the bottom line is,
is that why you don't respond?
it's the people and, all right, thank you. Vote. What do we vote on? We're all set.
You need to vote.
Yes, everybody said.
Mr. Noble, I want to see you here November 15th this year, okay, sir? I want to get this squared away for you. We'll get on back in here. Thank you.
Yeah,
Okay, appointments, resignations. I move to appoint Jennifer Glinzak to the Executive Farm Management Committee. Are you Jennifer?
Yes, I am.
Why do you want to do that?
it's a great committee.
I am interested in preserving cultural and agricultural heritage from Columbia. That's basically it. And what better way than to serve the community through community gardens and a place for people to go.
Very
I
good.
like that.
So you didn't even have to write that on your hoodie, and so you,
And the farm it's looking really good.
I know.
They're taking really good care of it.
Excellent. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? And 8.2, I move to appoint Nick Ferris on the Conservation Commission. Why?
I have a history of serving on conservation commissions in other towns, cities. And we've spent the last few years volunteering on a number of nonprofit farms, and both of those together kind of drew us to move to Columbia about a year ago. We built a house, we live on Route 66, and we want to really get involved in our community here.
I like that.
So, Nick's resume is here and a lot of good stuff on there. A lot of good stuff, farming and conservation, environment. Good. All those in favor? All right, opposed? Thank you. Town administrator report?
Um. Wanted to give everybody an update on. There's a lot happening at the Capitol. I've included a capital report for you. With priority bills they're working on, there's a lot of, concern with the governor's, recommendation with the cuts he's making to specifically, a lot of it is the, youth summer work programs where, half the kids are not getting, funded, due to the cuts. And we're really trying to focus on funding vulnerable students because we feel the work programs are essential for creating, a connection between studies at school and what they do in life, and some of these work programs could lead towards careers. So that's going on in the Capitol. It'll be on tomorrow at 10 a.m. for the public hearing. And there's other labor issues, planning and development issues in here. And I don't know if they've figured out 100% veteran disability yet, or if they've made any more progress with funding for ECS and special needs for students within our Board of Ed. So there's a lot being discussed. That's all I have, Steve.
We didn't know, New London, have you ever been down to the Sail Fest? I hope you had fond memories.
I saw that.
It's been going on for 45 years. They canceled it this year. It's terrible, absolutely terrible. It's too bad.
I know.
Okay,
Due to money.
the correspondence, yes, the correspondence, read it for yourselves. Columbia House Fire, sends to the hospital, that. We can talk about that, is that right? It's Mr. Olson, you know, Mr. Olson on West Street.
Yeah. We're working with the family right now.
Yeah, we're working with the family, they're getting a lot of, he has not siblings, but children. And, they're being cared for by family, we've been in touch with them, we've sat down with them, we're attending to needs as they've asked. That we can provide, there's good there, I know they hope to stay in Columbia. So we're doing all we can for them.
Was the house destroyed?
Yes, the house is been by the building official condemned.
Until it's rebuilt.
Are they gonna take it down?
They don't want, they want to fix it.
Yeah, I thought it's a heritage house, right? It's older, I think.
It looks pretty bad. I drove by it. It looked pretty bad.
You'd be surprised.
Okay.
Okay, and good notice of age on there. Other than that. Transfers, I move to approve the transfers of $10,000 from contingency. To establish a community emergency management account, social services fund 33. Wow, what is this? 'Cause this is. Did I hear about this?
Yes, we've had, now 2 house fires in 1 year, which is not normal at all.
Right.
And with both house fires, there's going to be required funds. Some which we will recoup from insurance or possible liens, but we need a fund source, and was recommended by a voting official, and he recommends all the towns he handles. That you really get up at least eventually a $30,000 fund, that you have the money to handle these kind of crises. And we wanted to fund it with 10 to start with. And then in the budget, we have 25,000 for in the budget. To create a fund that is a capital fund, it won't go away, but it'll give us working money.
I don't understand why we need money to deal with somebody's house fire.
Well, not just house fires, it's blight and like the court order we're working on down on 87 right now, just cost us $8,000. So we need money to pay that bill.
Clean it up.
There will be a lien for reimbursement in a future date. But the court order was that all the unauthorized vehicles and blight had to be removed. And the owner had 2 years to do that and chose not to. So half of the project is done last week. And I'll show you later,
He had stuff removed from that property.
a lot. 2 days worth,
We'll discuss it.
Is the bus going?
yes,
Yeah.
Good.
Now we have to prove it. Never mind.
but that is the start of the fund for things like this.
Yeah.
It eventually will get repaid, hopefully. I need
All those in
a
favor?
place to start.
I,
Aye. Refund, I move to approve refund of $46.04.
oh,
$46.
And what?
You said $46?
$46.04.
Okay, sound like thousand, $46. Nevins?
All those in favor? Aye. I move to approve the payment of bills totaling $188,447.45, consisting of 24.25 regular, credit card, and paycheck. Here. What are you doing?
Oh,
I'm holding it in my hand.
Right, but this is the actual version.
how's the HVAC project going? Chris?
Hot and cold.
Yeah. He's taking it serious. Stop there with that.
We've got a meeting tomorrow, right, to kick off essentially,
At 2 o'clock,
right?
2 o'clock at the school. There's a
Construction starts.
construction project meeting.
Good.
And I'll be on WILI tomorrow morning at 7:30.
Oh, well,
They moved me up from Friday because Wayne thought it'd be a lot more fun to be in North Carolina than to be on UConn with him. Interviewing me.
I don't, I really don't. Sorry.
All those in favor of paying the bills?
I,
Aye. Opposed? Thank you.
And one, just curious what it is, the MES Service Company for annual certification, so I was just curious. It's not like it's huge amounts,
To have
but,
the fire extinguisher check,
oh, is that what it is?
exit signs and
Yes.
fire, yeah.
Yes.
Is that what that is?
Okay,
Yeah.
okay,
We to pay them?
We do, they don't,
they're not
You
cheap.
know what?
it's a concept,
But can't our fire marshal do that?
No,
no. He does check everything else, he actually checks to make sure everything's working, but it has to be certified.
Okay.
okay.
Audience or citizen, anybody? What do you think of the meeting? Great, huh? There's open positions. You too can join this ring of,
They just,
this horseshoe of glory. Board member comments.
We taking any action to remedy the recent vandalism at Rec Park?
Well, yeah, well, we're taking action what we can. First of all, it came to my attention about 3 days before we heard of the vandalism about the snow and ice ruining the solar for the cameras up there. Parts are being, were
We just
looked
arrived
at,
today.
parts were already ordered. So that's number one. Number two, the plaque is going to be reordered. And we've asked our facilities manager if there's a better way to adhere to the bench
And bolt on.
and bolt it on. He said, yes. Great. Why it wasn't done the first go, but I thought. it
Well,
should
you
be
don't
written.
expect,
I know.
why would you do that, I don't get it.
vandal-proof screws.
You hear somebody, there's a slab missing off the bench, you know, where there's a will, where there's a bad
Well,
will, there's something happening, but is that what we're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. I went up there the next day and took a look, and it was disheartening, to be honest, so. We're also looking at Wi-Fi up there to power the cameras, not power the cameras, but also get a better.
Well, we first tried to do the grant, but it was $600,000. It was insane to bring CEN Wi-Fi into the rural area. So now we're switching gears, working with Novus to look at Frontier, which already has fiber optics by a lot of our areas like Red Park and History Place. And so we're gonna try to come up with a more economical
Okay.
option.
Anybody else, Judy?
No.
No, Chris? Okay,
We do have exhibits there.
yep. So at this time, I would suspend the board of selectmen meeting and move to enter executive session. And I would ask that Mark stay with us. Anybody else?
No, because I don't think they'll deal, we just dealt with the finance parts of some of our issues and.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're Mark.
Fun.
Thanks.
Good to be here.
Well, I would take that.
Yeah.
And the payment bills are in for somewhere.
We're going around.
Hi.
You have to pause recording.
Yes, thank you. Again. All right, going into executive session at what time, Steve?
8:20.
24.
8:24?
Oh, there's